Happy Monday. It is a new vlog of my venture to get an eBay store I created in June of 24 to a 6-figure income. This vlog is where I like to set myself with some weekly goals on the Monday, which today is January, I believe it's the 27th, and come in with a midweek check-in to see how I'm doing with those, and then a checkup at the end of the week and provide sales history as to what got sold that week. This week's going to be different because for me, this is finally the full week that I feel I can exhale. I can get into this new phase of the year where I can plan my days, my weeks, my months. And I'm going to tell you, I am really excited. I have gotten into exploring what this Whatnot app is. For me, I will be doing a multi-part series of what it's taking me to go through that. Having been doing this for 22 to almost 23 years, I'm going to tell you, I am foreseeing that platform becoming, or some version of that platform, being as big of a seller as probably, if it's not going to get to an eBay world, probably where the Poshmark is, the Etsy world. In this 22 to 23 years, you have to remember, I was there through the time of eBay when people were listing stuff without even having photos. I mean, it was nuts. I'm just telling you, it was nowhere near the powerhouse it is today. And I've been through, I mean, there's been platforms like, was it Bonanza or something? I remember Jet coming on. Oh, they were going to be disrupting Amazon. I've been through a lot. There was like Ruby Lane or something. I remember the world was going to fall because Walmart was getting into the picture of third-party selling. So I've been through many evolutions of this online e-commerce world. And, you know, there has been some that have come in to be a disruptor. But, like, take like a Macari. They're there, but they are nowheres taking the business away from people like eBay and Amazon. I have not felt a blip of any of that. I do think that this Whatnot, if it's not going to take away from me in getting what I want to do with this new eBay store, I think it's going to become a powerhouse in the way I can use it as a vehicle. I did another episode on having your eBay store become a vehicle for you. That's how I'm viewing Whatnot. I'm going to do, like I said, a multi-part series on it to document through. But for me this week, I want to have at least one showing on there, if not possibly up to 3. It's a little adventurous. I get it. I know I want to put on one, and I don't want to put it off for too long. I know the way that my mind starts working on things, and it's just not going to let me step back from this until I get to that point. We'll see. Only time is going to tell if it becomes in that layer of getting me through to the next phase. We'll see. Again, watch the other video for my ideology on why. The other thing I'm looking to do this week is I do have to get into that basement. I'm looking to start it today because I need to sort out. I mentioned that I got all my videos up and all last week, but I still have a couple of videos that I want to take, which is the what did I buy and why did I buy it, for some of the later sales in that month. There's at least 2, if not possibly 3. I want to be able to pull that stuff out, get that stuff in the video, and then some of that may wind up in another future Whatnot video, and I want to be prepared to start moving on it. I want to start getting the listings up on eBay this week, and that's not saying that's like all I'm going to be doing. Some of the other things I'm going to be working on, I do go for my extended vacation. That's my personal vacation for the whole year, where I go and I do my greeting cards and things. I need a lot of prep work to do that. Obviously, I could go, but the way I like to attend it, I want to be much more further along in my prepping than I am right now. So I do spend quite a bit of time in the afternoons and evenings for that right now. And then the third thing is, I've also said that in my reselling world, I like to go in and remove all the old discontinued SKUs, items we're no longer going to be selling that will be here in 2025. I want to get them off all the sales platforms, and I've been working on that a lot at the evening as well. I kind of go between the two. I do get kind of antsy. I wonder if I have ADD or something, but I get to a point there's so much looking at the screen, and then I got to go do something else, and that's where the two kind of balance each other out. So you will start seeing now that my schedules and my plans are going to get a little bit more balanced through those three areas of my life, being the main eBay, Amazon accounts for the reselling world, the main family, sole source income, getting into this new endeavor, and then what I'm doing with the crafting world. Those are going to start coming and kind of leveling out a little bit more now. So that's what I have going on this week. The other things that we've got going on is, you know, like the warehouse is starting to get organized. That's great. My house, I do need to get decorated. I'm kind of afraid, like, I want to leave some of it up for this estate sale company, or for this new Whatnot app, because I think if I'm selling Christmas, the goods being in the back may help. I don't know. Am I the only one with Christmas still up? We shall see. Anyway, I'll be back for the midweek check-in. We are still here on Monday, the 27th, and I had said in a previous video that I was going to show the gaps of what I found in my storage area. So we're going to pull the two items that have to ship out today, and I'll just show you my death pile. Let's see. So here is the shelving that starts. There is a box here and there. These items are not listed, so that's what should be part of the death pile. This item is something that's just down here for storage during my decorations being up. These two items were on the marketplace but have not sold and really need to go. There is a basket in here that's one of these two that has to get pulled, and a small little in here is, matter of fact, here is the cat that I need to pull that's sold. So this shelf doesn't look like it, but this used to have it packed to the gills. I was able to get rid of, there was boxes on top of here. These tubs were kind of out lingering in the rest of the workspace. This whole area has been emptied out. That tub is empty. And these tubs really do have some space that I could be in there stacking. And these shelves were really full. So that's what we have there. Like I said, one of those baskets will be coming out, leaving me with a better opening. There is some stuff in there I just can't wait to get rid of. So here is part of my death pile. This was part of the strawberry shortcake toy one I was able to pre-buy at. And then this is my death pile. Now some of you may be like, oh, that doesn't look like much. For somebody that wasn't even going to have a death pile, this is quite a bit. The stuff here in the front is the items that has been here for a while. That was from my wholesale business. And over in here is the stuff that's also been here from the wholesale business. There is a chair. So everything in front of this chair is there. So this is the stuff here that I swore, this is from the other business. This is the stuff here that I swore, I was never going to have. Yeah, right. This is something I'm not using of my own. There is a few things in there that is personal. So I guess it's not as bad as I would like to think it had been. But this is the death pile that I know I need to get rid of. Actually, that is probably not. It's probably backup decorations. So I want to pull out some of the items that I know I can get photographed and get listed up there. I need to do my 2 videos. I said I think there's going to be a third one because this stuff over here is stuff from prior sales, and I probably could do something with that as well. So that's where we're at so far. To tell you, I'm sickened, disgusted, upset. I don't know what word to put on it, but I just went in to start getting my plan together for when I get home. And the first thing I wanted to do was sort out those 20-ish items that I've been talking about that I had ready to go in a draft that just needed pictures, and found they're gone. Poof. Yes, it has been about 3 months, but I know they say 30 days, but truthfully, in my wholesale business account, I don't use eBay to list. Everything comes out of an inventory management system, and there's been drafts in there for years. I have no idea where or even how they got into that on that site. So I guess I had a little bit more faith that they really didn't mean it, and they do apparently mean it. So I'm here for the midweek check-in. It's Thursday. It is the 30th of January, and I got a couple things that has been going on. One is I did do my first show last night on Whatnot. It was a little bit more work, I guess, than I thought it was going to be. I'm doing a multi-part series on that, so you can check out my progress with that. I will just tell you that I didn't have any sales and I had very little engagement, but I will go through all the steps I took and some things I'm looking to improve upon or change for the next one in those episodes. So please check out those, because I do plan on continuing with Whatnot as being part of this online selling journey that I'm doing for this 6-figure income that I want to have. So that was one thing. The other thing is my prep was part of my goals for the week, was the prep for the weekend getaway that I've turned into like a 10-12 day vacation for myself. The wind came out of my sails a little bit with that. The friend that I typically go with that would be there for Thursday to Sunday for part of it, kind of in the middle of it, the big hurrah weekend, I don't know if it's going to be able to go. She's got some personal things she's dealing with, and I really, really understand, and she really does need to be dealing with what she needs to be dealing with. And truthfully, I don't know how, with what she's dealing with, she is going to be able to go. She did pay for this already, and it's a non-refundable deposit or payment, whatever you want to say. And we've pretty much got another friend on deck to go with me. It's just left me a little bit unprepared, because we typically do a couple things during that weekend as a project together, and I'm just going to do my own thing, plan on just doing it myself. If she goes, she can always join in with my stuff. It's just left me a little out of sorts from what the normal would be in my preparation, that's all. And I'm praying for her and the whole situation. I have been doing that for many years with all through this. But the third thing was me getting rid of the old SKUs out of my system. But truthfully, that's kind of gotten bumped back, because I'm realizing that we have such an abundance of these returns that we need to file cases for on the Amazon platform, that if I don't get on them, we're going to run out of time, because they only give you so many days to file, and there is so many there. It's a sad state of what I'm seeing in the reselling world as to basically taking advantage is a lot of what these buyers are doing on the Amazon platform. And I know that it's a very touchy-feely kind of situation, but if I don't file for the things that I'm entitled to, I'm losing money. I'm going to do a special episode right after this as to why watching every dollar in your business is important. I've learned this very early on, and I have to make every effort to recoup what I can out of these returns that were basically either return damaged or otherwise put the onus on me, and it just is not the I'm choosing to basically fight for the business and my livelihood. So having said that, that has kind of got bumped up until I can get through that. I'm not really going to work on doing the SKUs, because there's no money attached in what doing that is going. It's going to organize, but there's no money for that. And when you're in this business, you have to prioritize what is going to make you money. And there is money that can be lost in lack of organization, but honestly, I've recognized that the organization for that is a very low priority at this point in time. So hopefully I'm going to be going home now. I plan to get through quite a few more of those cases. I do want to get listed the goods. I had about 18 items that I took pictures of, and I'm now going to work on getting them listed in this new eBay store. They have been part of my death pile for a while. I wouldn't say at least 5 years that I bought them to be product for the wholesale business. And just from not having good pictures, whether it be from the manufacturer or me taking pictures, they have never gotten listed before. But now I snapped. It's funny, you know, technology has changed. I've gotten better with some of my skill sets, and I just snapped some just basic pictures, and voila, here we are. So that is today's plan, is getting that listed. And I looked ahead like 2 days ago on Tuesday, I think it was, or Monday night, for its state sales of my company. There are quite a few. So for me, in making a timestamp for myself for next year, I should be expecting come January of next year, ready to go, starting the first weekend in January, because they are very plentiful. They are having what I would say are just as good of offerings now as what they were over the summer months. So for the estate sales, I'm not seeing like a slowdown like theirs. The only thing I can say was probably maybe 4 to 6 weeks around the holidays. There was very slim pickings. And come probably March to April, yard sale season is going to get really ramped up, and I have a lot of plans for what I want to do with that. Side note was, always make use of networking. I've said this, it is the lifeblood of the business, and it's ironic at its best in that there was a group of us in our very early days of eBay reselling education. Matter of fact, I joined this group for the experience or expertise of the mentor in there, teaching us how to make better use of our eBay stores, because it was such an underutilized thing during that time period. I mean, we're going back to probably 2006, maybe era, and Amazon was just starting to come along. She kind of shifted into talking about FBA in the early days of it. So this tells you how long ago this was. But there was a core group of us that we were pretty much the students that were her group that went with her through the many training episodes, and we all knew who we were with talking about the different stores and our questions. And when I started doing some education on this new eBay store, one of those people has always been very active in the YouTube community, in the Facebook community. She chose an adaption and bringing that on very, very early in, back even like when she was, you know, doing it back in that group. And her channel showed up when I started researching the eBay reselling world, and I was kind of like, wow, you know, like here she is. And go check her out. She's called the Niche Lady now. She was totally something different back then, Danny Ackerman. And it's really been inspiring to see how much she's grown from what I had seen. And I'm sure she would feel differently about, you know, seeing what I know differently about, because we've all expanded on. Some of the people that were in that group have since left it. Some of them gone into completely different directions, but it is kind of funny. It's almost like you want a reunion. Anyway, I did find that she was selling on this Whatnot platform, of all things. It was just really funny. So I reached out to her on Facebook. What a great help and resource she's willing to be. She's apparently got her own Shopify store, which I have got with my wholesale business. So I'm very familiar with what she's talked about in her videos with utilizing of that store. But I was recently seeing where she's selling on Whatnot, and that was new for me. And I would really like to find her channel. I have not found it yet, even though she has shared her links and stuff. I just have not been able to really find her and see where that is going over there. But she has a lot of ideology on how she structured her business to where I was actually thinking to go in with this new eBay store. And it's just funny how the two correlated. And we probably had similar thoughts when we both were in that same group as an education group before. And I think a lot of people, when you're in this reselling world, you do have a very similar business plan or business ideology as other people. So just recognize that is my point of that. So I'm going to sign off for now, and I'll come back at the end of the week with the wrap up. It's February 2nd. It's time for the week wrap up. I can tell you that my week has not gone as planned, and I know that many of you probably are going to feel the same way when I get into was these 2 plane crashes have been horrific. I have been praying for all of those affected. I hope that a lot of other people have been out there praying for all those who have been affected with these plane crashes. But I have been spending time that I wasn't expecting to do it, watching what's happening on the TV unfolding. The second one happened within miles of people that we consider to be like our best friends. And that meant that we were back and forth, hearing updates from them. And I know that it's just one of those events that it's just you are compelled. There's just no other way to say it, that you have to feel and you're in those moments, and things get put aside that you weren't expecting. And I tried to make the best use of the time by getting myself prepared for that week away. I don't sit so well, I've said this before, and I used that time doing some prep work for the card making that I will be doing. But I didn't get to do the listings that I expected I was going to be doing. One of the reasons I put earlier was that I had those items drafted and I expected I could just quickly take some photos and get them up, and poof, they were gone. The other thing I expected was I was going to do these items from my Whatnot show that did not sell and get them up. And truthfully, I don't know. I just, in the last 2 days, have just not been, between the plane crash and just trying to, I guess, regroup myself from what's been going on in the past couple of months. I just haven't done any of it. I can tell you, we're also dealing with my son just transferred to a new college and trying to get him on board and just trying to help him with his questions of just knowing what direction to go in has been a time suck. He has been making a lot of effort to get the one storage container cleaned out, because I did mention I want to move all of the inventory out there from this new eBay endeavor and have myself a studio set up in the back of the one. The problem that's just holding that up right now is that there's items that are left in there that's from our biggest brand, and he needs to do physical inventory and bring those, make room for those to come back into the warehouse for. And that's where I need to do the cleanup for the SKUs and all that I've said before, because for me, I give him a working list of what to look for export it out of our inventory management. And if I don't get that list cleaned up, it winds up being 2 to 3 times longer of a list than it needs to be. Whether it be for printing it and him having to go through it all, it just makes sense that he gets it in a cleaned up version. For the time and the resources wasted, it just makes sense. It needs to get done anyway. And he's been busy just trying to, like I said, learn what this new college is trying to, just get back into the whole being back in school again from last semester. So that's been kind of on hold. I don't know that it's going to stay on hold much longer. I know he wants to go out and get some work done today, but I have been working on that as well. And I don't think that's pretty much, I did do a sale I did get a sale scheduled for Friday night to start through, I believe it's going through tonight at midnight. And we really had no sales. I think I had 1 item sell all week until I put that sale up. I've made at least 4 sales in 24 hours having put that sale up. I do believe it does help. So let's get into the numbers and I'll show you what we've got selling. Here now for the wrap up of January 27th to February 2nd. Sales. Apologize if you hear anything in the background. I have my cat over here playing. Said before, I've given up on trying to do these at a time when there's not going to be any interference, because it just doesn't seem to happen. Here we are with the gross week sales. I've mentioned many times now that I have not been listing in months. I'm talking probably since the middle of November. It is now the February months. You do the calculations. It's been months. Any sales coming in, I'm just appreciating. We had a gross amount of sales of $157 with $74.66 of net sales. You can see from this chart that the stuff is coming in over the weekend, which tells me that the sale that I am running is pretty much what's driving sales. I had one item that sold here that was the 28th, but other than that, everything else was selling over the weekend. Our average gross sale per item was $22.46, with the average net per sale of $10.67. This is not something I want to see this number driven up. I want to get this to $20 on average per sale, but I can't really complain considering that I haven't been listing anything new. The net profit margin is 47%, with the average net profit margin being 50%. Yard sales are outpacing everything else as far as where I source stuff. You'll see when I break down into the numbers, a lot of them came from basically the one community sale in my town that I had gone to. I am only selling on the marketplace of eBay right now, and I've spent nothing on new inventory. My cost of goods was $22.13. My commissions to eBay that I paid was $24.36, and my shipping labels were $36.09. They're breaking down again where the sales were coming in, and if you take the look, it's an average of 4 months to sell. Makes sense because I haven't been listing anything for a while, and all this stuff has been out there for many months. And that's where you can see the return on investment broken down. And now we'll get into what the actual items are that sold this week. Oh, I should tell you, here was the other thing. We have no new sales going up, and we had a total of 7 items sell. So here's what sold for the week of January 27th to February 2nd. The lowest price item I sold this week was even more items out of that big lot I bought of a bunch of cat figures and ones with mice in it. I bought this, and I'll go through the data on this one, and then I'll just do the highlights in the future ones. This one I purchased on August 6, 2024. It was listed for 6 months. They're saying it took 8 days to list. Maybe. The place purchased was at yard sales, and the purchase price was 26 cents. Then when you go over here to the top, they're saying that eBay collected $16.35, which broke down to $10 for the item and $6.35 for the shipping. I took an offer from the buyer for this. This is one of the items I'm just now at this point, I've made much money out of this lot. I really just want to blow them out now. So for this, if you look up here, it says the list price changed from $19.99 to $12.39. That was a sale that I was running during that period of time. The final value fee is a bank transaction fee that eBay charges of 40 cents to take the funds of $16.35 out of the eBay buyer's account and put it into ours. The final value fee is basically the commission, which is $2.16. And the cost to ship this, the actual cost to ship this item was $4.25. The net return coming after they took out all expenses and the purchase price was $9.28. The ROI was 3,569% with a net profit margin of 57%. If you look down here, all these price changes are basically the different sales I've been running through all of this period of time. And that'll give you an idea if you ever want to look at and see what price you were offering. Maybe you're confused. Maybe you want to do a better price on the next sale. This will give you an idea where you can find that at. So that was the lowest price item of this time period that was sold. The next item is an item that was dead store stock that I wound up finding in my basement. Another item was this item. I bought this off of Facebook Marketplace. There was an item that I really had wanted. I made an appointment to go to the woman's house, and in the interim, she must have looked it up and found the value. And when I got there, she gives me a price that was quite exorbitant, that it was not going to be anything I could make any money on. And to not waste the trip, I did pick up this item there. I bought this for $1. I took an offer on this one of $10 as well, with an $8.85 shipping cost. After everything was said and done, I made $9.75 for this item. Again, you know, I wouldn't have just driven there to pick this up, but there was a very high in demand item she had that I could have made quite a bit of money on. And unfortunately, like I said, she did the research after posting it. Some of this is the paper that I sell. That's something of my hobby. And then the number 3 selling item was these 2 clip-on purple birds that are ornaments. I do sell these pretty much year round because they don't have to be just for Christmas. These were purchased at a community yard sale, but the woman holding the yard sale was liquidating her sister's estate as well as her mother's, and her sister was one that changed her tree colors and designs every year. I made quite a bit off of this yard sale already. These were two items that I'm sure somebody's probably doing a Mardi Gras themed decoration in their home for, or they just like purple, I don't know. I picked them up because I've had many experience with these types of clip-on birds, and I knew they were going to be an easy sell for me. I picked them up with a purchase price of 87 cents. That's 87. And I was able to take an offer of $17 for them with a net return of $14.26. Not a huge home run, but these are the types of things that you can pick up when you're out and shopping. Easy enough to put in your store and don't have to do a whole lot to them. As you can see, I was just holding them up. This was an item that was something I picked up at the same community yard sale. It was throughout my whole town. I picked this up at a different sale, and truthfully, I don't know what I'm doing. I don't know what I'm doing with anything fashion related. I picked these up thinking that the Sperry brand was going to be this big seller, with this cheetah print being a wonderful thing. I picked them up for $10. And even after not knowing what I was doing, I took an offer of $13.63 just to get my I listed them for the sale actually, and I was just looking to get some of my money back. The shipping being $12 and me being able to ship them for under $7 is what really saved this sale. I still came out with $4.37. Personally, for me, I was just happy to get my money back and be able to move on, and I could still add $4 more on to that deposit into my account. The number one selling item is this 4-piece family caroler set. This was purchased as the same yard sale as the one with those clip-on bird ornaments. This was a total purchase cost, I allotted to this, of $10. This was sold on the weekend sale for $24.79. And after all expenses and the purchase cost came out, it was $14.36 being left over. So I'm going to tell you right now, I did attribute $10. I paid a total of $30 at this sale. I don't know why I put so much towards this family. I probably could have spread it out a little bit more over the items in that yard sale. Not bad. The thing that really drove this up was apparently I'm much overcharged on the shipping for $11.05, and it only cost me $6.34. So that is this week's item. Nothing over the top, nothing really, home run, but I'm still in just gliding mode. I'm just gliding along on all the things I've listed in the past. This to me is fabulous, just to be able to still make some sales. I don't know. Tell me what you think below, and we'll get back to listing shortly, get these sales coming in more regularly. But for right now, I'll say bye, and I'll catch you on the next one.